Hi, and welcome to the Tomáš King of Rejection Kickstarter. Before I do a little deep dive into what our game is all about, I thought I'd just introduce some of the team members helping to bring this quirky 1990s throwback to life. First of all, here's a pre-recorded message by my friend in Iran, who has been a major supporter in pretty much all my endeavors. While he can't be with us right now, I thankfully was able to confirm that he's still alive and well. I've been able to talk to him a couple days ago. So yeah, thank you, Sandis. Thank you for being all around awesome, and let's hope and pray you can soon become a permanent member of not just the development team, but of the wider retro gaming community as a whole. I know getting recognition for your work means a lot to you.
Hello, I am Mehmet and I will be working on art and sprites for this project. For my vision or my idea or inspiration for the stuff that's going to happen, or generally the art and sprites as we talk about, would be using miniatures and tapestries and generally the vibe of the 90s in Iran. The Persian miniature, which became very prevalent with modern techniques and digitalization of basically everything in the Middle East, plus tapestries and Windows 98 and very early digital devices that started to be used here. Sort of a golden age that is not going to come back anyways, because the prosperity of the country wore off in the 2000s and everything basically went down the spiral, a downward spiral into chaos. And yeah, my works will be mainly focusing on a fabled and lost era that which evoke emotions from the person or the audience that are using this project.
Next, I'd like to introduce my good friend Jin, who has pretty much been the main driving force behind this game. Without him, I don't think I would have ever even attempted to create a game that targets a more mature audience with its sexual innuendos and dad jokes.
Yeah, I got this idea for a romantically challenged man. Basically kind of like, I guess you could say kind of like a mix between the Joker and, like Leisure Suit Larry kind of deal.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, we kind of know this guy in real life who's basically like this as well. And there's like things he has done that I'm not even sure I could include in the game. Like, I'm just gonna mention it here because it's kind of funny. But this guy was like using his own turd as he was shaping his own turd into a heart for a girl. So that's the level of degeneracy and desperation we're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. So. Have you ever played Leisure Suit Larry, actually?
I did not play the 2D. I played one of the 3D ones that name, but I played the 3D one that came out in like 2005, 2006, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
For Xbox, original Xbox.
Yeah, that was a fun time. That was one of the worst games, actually. There's actually an interview with Al Lowe, and he says that that game felt like having your son kidnapped, like basically knowing he's alive, but basically seeing him tortured. he did not like these new games. Yeah. So what we're doing is gonna be more like the original game. So that's I guess it's gonna be a new experience for you as well then, because it's so it's gonna be a 2D game.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I don't really know where to draw the line yet in terms of censorship, and I don't know. Like the turd thing might be too gross. But it actually happened. Like a dude actually took a heart and took a turd and turned it into a heart.
Oh, jeez.
And he thought that was romantic for some reason. Yeah,
Well, that's worthy of a cartoon.
that is worthy of a cartoon. Yes. Um, yeah, you're kind of my idea guy. So we'll see what comes out of that. I just thought I would really just quickly introduce you to people. So thank you for taking the time, and talk to you later.
It's
See
no
ya.
problem. Thank you.
Finally, I'm hoping to feature more members of the dev team as the Kickstarter progresses. As I mentioned before in this project's description, the owner and sole proprietor of Welder God Studios will also help with the game's puzzle design iterations. His own main project is a free-to-play browser RTS game titled Missiles and Martyrs. He's also very astute about his crypto-backed Steam achievement tracker that will reward players in one form or another. While this isn't something I'll personally embrace with Happy-Ferret Entertainment, since we're pretty much a retro game studio longing for uncomplicated, DRM-free 1990s goodness, I can certainly appreciate a little bit of innovation in the industry. In return for his design assistance, I have agreed to provide him with early builds of the tools I'm eventually releasing to the indie game development community at large. Now, I'm sure you're all dying to know the general vision of this project and what the game itself is about, how it differs from other titles in the genre, new and old. Tomáš, King of Rejection, is not just a sterile Leisure Suit Larry homage. I'm really hoping to blend the best of 80s and 90s gameplay. While the general gameplay will be closer to LucasArts style adventure games, Tomáš will feature a number of humorous death scenes. They'll never be unfair though, I can promise that much. Think of it as a Sierra Light. Very close to Leisure Suit Larry 6. You may die if you try hard enough, but there's always a retry button transporting you right back to the moment before your impending doom. As I've already outlined on my YouTube, the game will also feature a number of non-adventure gameplay sequences, although most of them will be optional, and will certainly not impede on the adventure purists' enjoyment. The beauty of my development approach, using a very simple uh, but efficient stack-based virtual machine, is that I can really port the game to a new platform within days with very little friction. Obviously, for the VM itself, virtual machine itself, there's still platform specific code, but it's very frictionless. What especially excites me is my Storybun engine, which is essentially a modern graphics wrapper on top of the existing engine. Internally, the game will still run with the exact same state as the classic mode, but we're able to produce enhanced graphics with sharper textures and all sorts of fancy schmancy 2D and 3D effects. Storybun even supports GPU accelerated SVG vector graphics, enabling completely resolution independent graphics. If funded, I will make all of these tools available to the community sooner rather than later. Thank you for being a part of this project.